The girlies were right about mini twists. Everything that the girlies said about mini twists, everything the girlies told me about mini twists, they were right. I remember the first time that I tried mini twists. And I tried it because, yes, I was peer pressured into trying it, but it was the good peer pressure, the peer pressure that actually looks out for you. I have so many different comments from the girlies talking about their experiences and just promising me that, girl, if you just try it, girl, just try it, you're gonna love it, you're not gonna regret it. And so I finally did. And I remember the first day this girl did mini twists on my hair. I was trying so much to boost my spirits when I looked at myself in the mirror right after. And then the way we did it, we didn't know all of the techniques. We did my mini twist that day with my hair very much dry. And of course it gave very much bony. Okay, it gave skeleton, it gave skinny. I mean, I really got to see the reality of what my hair texture is, where it's like all natural hair is not thick and full. And it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with your hair. It means that your texture is just a little different. And so that was my very first experience or first exposure at what my hair really was. Why is it thick in the front and then in the back it's super thin? Where's the rest of it? And I was even asking the girl who did my hair, like, because she does a lot of hair. Are other people's hair like this? And she just kept affirming me, girl, everyone's hair is different. You can't continue to compare yourself with other people's. You're gonna be depressed. You're gonna be depressed. Maybe also the words that we're attaching to what our hair looks like, where it's like, if it's not full, then it must be a problem. It must be scanty, and scanty has a negative connotation to it, where it's like it shouldn't be scanty, it should be full. So maybe starting to attach different types of adjectives to our fine hair, to our not as full hair, is going to help us to unlearn these expectations that our hair is supposed to look a certain way. And so that was day one. And so I remember the very first way that I styled it, I just put it up in a ponytail. I could barely, because you know how you put it up in a ponytail, like the back of your hair, you should be able to fit it all in one ponytail. Barely. So I had to do two ponytails, one for the ones in the front, and then I had to do the second one in the back. If I have videos and clips, I'll put them up here. And I remember just rocking it like that, just my hair out of my face. And it's so interesting because growing up I had a dysmorphia. Is that what you call it? Insecurity. I'll say insecurity because I think dysmorphia is like extreme. Dysmorphia is like rejection. I didn't reject my forehead. I just had an insecurity for how large my 5 head is, because look. And so I did a lot of side bangs. I did a lot of until Rihanna's forehead was a thing. And so I said, you know what? I have the same forehead. Let's rock it. And so with these mini twists and putting my hair back, it gave me another opportunity to really just show my features, show my forehead. Apparently I have high cheekbones, or I have cheekbones. That's a comment I've gotten to. It's like, girl, your cheekbones, girl. And so that was kind of like day one, week one, month one. By the time I got to month 2, 3, I started getting very comfortable with my mini twist. But not only that, but my 2 ponytails started becoming 1 ponytail. You know what that means. You know what I mean? That means that something great is happening. Your hair is actually retaining length. Not that your hair is growing, it's that you're retaining length. And so that's a huge thing that I noticed about mini twists. But anyway, by month 3, I took my hair to work. I got to the point where I didn't have to fix my life around my hair, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Where it's like, if I'm going on vacation at this time, I have to make sure that I do the certain hairstyle. If I'm going to work at this time, I have to make sure that my hair is down and I have a wig on. I have to make sure to not take down my braids because I'm going to be celebrating something. That was so far behind me. I literally you just get up, and if you have a work event, whatever it is that's on my head is what I'm gonna rock for that next week meeting. Okay? And so I did that without even second thought. I started showing up to events with friends without second thought, because I've gotten used to it. You know what I mean? So you get over the dysmorphia of not being able to recognize yourself with your own hair, and you start recognizing yourself, and not just that, but loving yourself with your own hair. I just want to say that if you've been watching for this long and you haven't subscribed yet, I think you should subscribe. Just to back it up a little bit. Before I got to mini twists, I didn't know exactly what to do. And so if you're in this phase in your hair journey, right, where it's like, okay, so you've come to terms with the fact that you actually kind of don't like your natural hair. Not only do you not like it, but you kind of hate it. you would rather anything else. You've come to terms with that. It's like, okay, now you have this afro, what do you do with it, right? How I started, I just did a lot of afro hairstyles. You know, maybe I've had my afro out for way too long. What I would do then is maybe a crochet hairstyle. I would get like afro textured, like crochet hair, and I would braid my hair down and crochet on top of it, and I would have this full look. That was another option. At some point I did cornrows, really cute. I think you guys remember my little cornrow era, but it was just one hairstyle, so I don't really know if it was an era, but it was cute. Went out to New York with my friends with it. I mean, rocked it for a whole month and a half. The first 2 days my scalp was burning, so then I learned that I actually have sensitive scalp, so I have to be careful. And I also learned that a protective style that is tight is not necessarily protective, because if it's pulling on your pores and on your follicles, it's counterintuitive. It's doing the opposite of what you want it to do when it comes to hair growth, hair retention. So I just want to take a really quick pause at this point in the video to let you know that there's a couple of things that I am working on. First being hair affirmations. So you all are familiar, hopefully by now, with my hair monologues. I found out too through this journey that I actually really love to write. And not only do I love to write, but my writing actually kind of makes sense. Girlies will actually resonate with it and they'll tell me it's poetic. So I found out that I am a poetic girly. So I'm putting together some hair monologues that I think you'll enjoy. And so I hope that you can stick around for those. But back to the video. So let us talk about cons. Feeling like I needed to refresh the twists. I guess finding out too that I'm a little obsessed with neatness of hair. But it's like our afro hair doesn't really fall under the modern perverted definition of beauty, where it's like it has to be neat. Your strands need to be pulled tight. You have to have this gel. So learning to unlearn that was really hard, or it's still really hard, which goes back to the con of refreshing it. So every week when I start to see some undergrowth, I would take down the style. Maybe every 2 weeks or every week and a half, I would take down the style and I would redo the twist. But then every time, of course, that you take it on, you're manipulating your hair. When you manipulate your hair, of course, there's going to be shedding, there's going to be breakage. So I think that's one of the cons. Maybe not a con, maybe just a con because it was how I handled it and I could have handled it a little better. You have to unlearn the expectation that your parts are always going to be neat. Your hair is going to do what your hair want to do. And that's your hair's love language, and you want to love your hair according to its love language as opposed to what you think its love language should be. And so if its love language is just to be free, to have undergrowth, to just be curly, to not, you know, to just be itself, then you allow it to just be itself as opposed to continuously try to smooth it into something that it's really trying to tell you that it's really not trying to do, if that makes sense. Another con too is at some point I felt like it wasn't as versatile. Like I could only do the ponytails, like one here, or just like one ponytail. So another quick break. If you've gotten this far, I think you should subscribe or like or drop a comment. Something too I wanted to share is I'm also building a blog, and that's something that's coming up. It's going to be outside of YouTube, delivered straight to your inbox. If that's something that you're interested in, like the hair monologues might not drop on YouTube, but then they'll drop on the blog. Just something to house all of my crazy ideas outside of YouTube. So that's coming up too. Now let's talk about the pros. Lots of pros. I talked about how it actually helps my hair grow a lot, I think. At least the girlies have pointed it out, even when I don't see it because I don't measure it. I'll just post a video and I'll see these comments, your hair's growing, your hair. So I'm like, oh my god, I think the girlies are right. Other pros, low manipulation. When we talk about natural hair, it's hard to take care of. I think mini twists really taught me that it's not that our hair is hard, it's just that we haven't learned how to care for it, and two, we want it to do something that it doesn't naturally do, and so when it doesn't do it, we think it's the problem and we call it hard. It's like, maybe just let it be. So with the mini twist, it wasn't a lot of manipulation, it wasn't a lot of maintenance, just the same as having braids in your hair where you wake up, you don't have to do much, you just put it up, or you go to sleep, you just put it up in a bonnet. Not much going on there. You don't got to do too much. It doesn't take up an hour of your day. I think that's another fear that I had, where it's like, dang, I don't want to wake up and have to think about how to part my hair and how to slick this back and how to put the scrunchie over here and how to braid it. I didn't want to have to think about all of that. And I think that's actually when your hair thrives the most, when you just balance taking care of it with leaving it alone. If that makes sense. Access to your scalp, child. So of course, one thing I never skipped was washing my hair. And I've learned during these past few months that my scalp actually wants to be washed once a week. There's some girlies who that doesn't work for them. There's some girlies who have to wash a little more frequently. What works for you works for you. Like right now, I need to take down these and I need to wash my scalp because it'll literally tell me. It'll start like being sensitive to the touch or like itchy. My hair would tell me. So with the mini twists, you have better access to your scalp, but you can go in and you can apply shampoo to your scalp itself, let that run through your hair, apply conditioner to your hair. Sometimes I'll apply deep conditioner, sometimes I'll apply a hair mask and put a little plastic cap over it and let it sit, and then I'll wash it, and then I'll still rock those mini twists for the next week, the next 2 weeks without any problems. And I guess it just links back to also accepting that when you wash your mini twist though, they then look old. So that's something else too that I learned, was like prioritizing the health of your hair over what it looks like will make it go a long way. So yes, I did not skip a wash day, and my wash days did not take me entire days. Another pro is I saved money. I didn't have to go and buy all this synthetic hair or extensions that I would then throw in the trash that are not biodegradable. I mean, that's a whole discussion. I know we've had it before. If you're like, what is she talking about? I'll put up a video here that I think you should watch. I don't have to buy wigs. I don't have to lay my edges if I don't want to. I still like to lay my edges, as you see. You know, I be trying a little bit. You know, but you don't have to. I don't have to go to this hairstylist that's gonna charge me an arm and a leg, rip out my hair strands while she's at it. I just get to save money, and I get to save the planet. So finally, while mini twists worked for me, they might not work for you. At the end of the day, I think it's all about testing things out, doing your due diligence. If it doesn't work, taking it out and doing something else that does work for you. I know some girlies have said that their hair tends to lock or start to lock, especially if you have fine hair. It starts to lock and then you start to get knots. I didn't experience that. Maybe I didn't pay too much attention to that to realize that I am experiencing it, or I don't know the difference, what to compare it to, where it's like if I experience something that it's too much knots or it's too much, you know, locking up. I didn't notice that, but maybe that's something to watch out for if you decide to try it. Some people will say, oh, it's too much breakage, it breaks their hair off too much, but I was really patient when I took my twist down. I did see breakage, but I think I'm supposed to normalize breakage as part of hair growth, normalize shedding as part of hair growth. Too much is a problem, but normally, typically, your hair is supposed to shed, your hair is supposed to break. And it wasn't any different from what I've seen in the past. But moving forward, I think my mini twist little phase, I'm going to push it to the side a little bit. The girlies have also been talking about mini braids. So that's what I'm going to try next. And if you actually notice, it's actually what I have on right now, mini braids. And I feel okay. I have to give it more time, but I guess one of the things I'm noticing more of is that, look, you know, it doesn't curl. Like with the mini twists, you know, it'll curl up and it'll fall, but with braids, I guess it's just very straight. Your hair is just very straight. So that's one thing I'm starting to get used to, but otherwise I'm gonna give it a little bit more time. I'm actually gonna take this down because I need to rock my afro before officially doing mini braids, because this was just to hold my hair up so that I didn't touch it all the time. So I know there's a little battle of the mini braids, battle of the mini twists. What side are you on? If you have tried both of these, what has worked best for you? I'm excited to hear. And if you haven't, try mini twists first and then do braids, or try braids and then do mini twists, and let me know how it goes. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. I just want to say that if you've been watching for this long and you haven't subscribed yet, I think you should subscribe.